monetization of.
Yeah, we got the money.
When we figure out monetization of, y'all gonna get sick of us. Y'all gonna be like,
get these niggas out the screen. Speaking of podcasts, NORE.
Man, I love Drink Champs, man. I don't listen to it the way I should though.
I loved Drink Champs.
That's what I meant to say. I loved, like, not love, active love.
You know, Drink Champs was one of my favorite podcasts starting out. I got some of my favorite interviews out of there. Whether it was 50 Cent up there, whether it was Fat Joe, you know, Fat Joe being one of the first interviews is beautiful because he told crazy stories that we never would have gotten.
Yes.
Whether it was who else was on there? Irv Gotti on there.
Really good.
Really good.
What's the black guy name?
Who?
The Akon. That one was really good.
Yeah, Akon was on there. I mean, the fact that you had you have Irv Gotti sitting there, and then Wyclef pops in just to surprise Irv Gotti, and they just talk about how they secretly competed with each other.
Yeah.
To go diamond. You know what I'm saying? Like that. And Irv Gotti was like, yo, we got diamond just to realize Wyclef sold 25 million. Like that's such a crazy thing to have Pusha T there. And I want to say it was Pusha T, excuse me. And have Nipsey to call in just to sing praise to Pusha T was like just beautiful. And then, you know, them saying, hey, Nipsey, we got to get you on here. And unfortunately, we know what happens. Yeah. But like, it, you know, hear the Isley brothers go on there. Like, it's crazy. To see what it's, you know, the beautiful thing about the old Drink Champs was, hey, you come in, we ask you all these questions, we give you a little liquor, and your liquid courage will take over and you start spilling stuff, right? And now it's a come in, sloshed, leave, you know, unhealthy, and ruin the rest of your life. You know, Kodak Black going up there being so much on drugs, and then he leaves, gets arrested, you know, not that day, but, you know, his PO and people start looking into him. Now it's like, yo, you know, we know what's going on with Kodak. It's sad to see Kanye go in there and say just off the wall stuff. And for clicks, you know, it gets posted. And if you haven't seen, and we're going to get to Benzino, that was I think I immediately text you and was like, yo, why this out?
Yeah, Benzino. You know, I mean, I on one hand, Benzino, I mean, we talked about this. I think he could have been one of the most powerful men in black media.
You think so?
No, I mean, dude, nothing was more powerful than The Source during the 90s, right? Like rappers, all rappers wanted was their 5 mics, right? Yeah. All people wanted to do is be freshman of the year, right? Like, yo, if I'm an upcoming rapper, I forget what they call the section, Next Up or whatever, right? Mm-hmm. Like, yo, if I'm in Next Up, then by next year I can have an album done and try to compete for, you know, 5 mics. Like, dude, that was that era. If you got 3.5 mics on your album, you were not selling.
Oh yeah.
You were not selling. So to have that kind of impact and influence in hip hop, and this is during the time frame that hip hop is on the ascension. Yeah. So Benzino could have, like, what you see with like Vlad TV, that could have been the Source, right? Yeah. What you see with like podcasting in general, that could have been the Source. Like, the Source could have 20 channels right now. So he kind of screwed it up, and you were kind of like, yo, how do you mess that up?
Well, you don't grow.
You don't grow. You know, as we said in group chat, right? You get blockbustered. Yeah. But if you, to the clips we're going to play today, it kind of explains
his life,
how that happens, right? Like Benzino, emotional control, I guess, right?
This dude is the most emotional roller coaster I've seen in a minute. Hold on, what we want? Let's start with this clip. Hold on, I should have had this already pulled up, but you know me. For what? Oh, here we go. All right, I guess I should turn the phone up.
Because white people was fucking with us with hip hop.
Let's skip all this part.
Being aggressive with my nigga's girl. And he disappointed me when he went on Stacks and Matt Barnes' interview and started, bro, with a camera, bro, you getting aggressive with my nigga's girl. That's my nigga's girl. He don't got shit, he hustling. in the streets. You got millions of dollars, and you ain't supposed to be you from LA, and you in another nigga city trying to get aggressive with a hood nigga's girl. That's not smart, bro. Somebody should have told you. When you go in another cities, these athletes, let me excuse these athletes, these NBA and NFL athletes. When you go in another city, relax, bro. Understand who you fucking. Some of these niggas, my nigga Merrill McNeil ran up on Lloyd Malloy and his mother pulled that shit out because he was fucking his baby mother. We don't play that shit, move on.
That is snitching, by the way. Like, Benzino, you got to relax.
I think he's already locked up.
But I mean, golly, bro.
Yeah. You know I'm anti name drop.
Like, bro, like, geez, and you giving 2 names.
Yeah.
It sounded like the last name was a full name. Like,
well, that was the football player. That was the former safety for the Patriots.
So what he's talking about Paul Pierce, who we all know Paul Pierce got stabbed, and we really never knew why.
Yeah. So basically hollering at, some hustler's girl.
Some hood dude. This brings me back to last week, how we ended the podcast about Vinyl, which is a club in a neighborhood in Charlotte, and how a dude was taking a shorty out, and some dude, her man rode up and killed both of them. Yeah. And I told you, I'm like, yo, you got to be careful. And I mean,
don't ever crash out over a woman, though. Like, if you crashing out over a woman, you are too emotional, bro.
All right, so are you talking about the dude who stabbed Paul Pierce?
Yeah, the dude that stabbed Paul Pierce.
Got you.
I mean, obviously, you should probably leave men and women alone, right? But that too. But I mean, these guys are athletes. They're in cities. If you think for 1 second that the baddie that's coming into the section of an NBA player is saying, "Hey, I got a boyfriend," like, that's not happening.
And he a dope dealer.
Nobody's asking that question. Nobody is providing that answer. Okay, so the idea again of crashing out, right? I can see crashing out over disrespect, like, hey, sweetie, get out of that section, right? And then you be like, nah, bro, she with me. All right, now you probably get to the point where it's like, all right, what's going on, right? But but outside of that, like, the idea of like, yo, let me school you, like, Benzino is older than me, right?
Facts.
I would never be like, yo, guys, let me put you on, like. It's kind of providing context, like, yo, he still thinks it's the 90s.
Well, he do.
It is not.
This is why I'm trying to tell y'all, I don't think Benzino would have been who we. Well, I don't think he had the potential.
I think the organization, him as the CEO, that it wasn't going to happen because obviously, right? Because this is during the 90s. Because Paul Pierce got stabbed, that was like late 90s, early 2000s, right? And he's running a major, corporation, and you think this is cool? Like, hey. I give Jay-Z this. When he started for him to become president of Def Jam Island, he was just like, hey, all the street stuff got to go.
Well, yeah, but this is my problem. I agree. I think we both kind of agree with Benzino on the fact of he's not lying.
No, he's not.
A problem with these kids nowadays, and it's not even the kids, it's like the kids just put it on the internet. Y'all be fooling around with hood dudes thinking that they don't got nothing to lose. And they are willing to risk 30 seconds of their life to ruin another 30 years. Exactly. And what happens is a lot of y'all mess around with dudes, and I want to interview you, Ice, and I'm going to bring this up. Ice is one of the members on the Joe Budden podcast, and they were talking about relationships, and he said, yeah, I had a segment in my life where I only mess with married women because my girl hurt me. And I remember hearing that, and he went over that shit so quick, and nobody didn't say, pump the brakes.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that. One of my favorite 50 Cent interviews is, sometimes you got to realize that somebody is willing to go farther than you, and they willing to die behind the joke that you telling.
Yeah. No doubt. You definitely need to understand decorum and reading the room.
In the streets.
Yeah. So, and definitely reading the streets. But, and here's the thing, right? I'm not, as a guy, I'm not going to be a hypocrite, right? I have definitely boinked somebody else's girl. All right. So that happens, right? But, if it becomes habit forming, right? Okay. You got to look at yourself. And not only should you look at yourself, like, it also makes it hard for you to settle down because you think that this is how all women are, right? So you get to the point where you be like, yo, I don't trust women. Right. I see a lot of guys be like, yo, I don't trust women. And when you actually like pull back the layers, is because they keep cheating on the women that they with, and they keep messing with women that cheat. So then they have this expectation, well, this is all women. It's like, yo, that's not all women, bro. It's the women that you're selecting. So you said Ice Point, right? When he's just messing with married women, it's easy to think that all married women cheat. And all married women don't cheat. But back to my point about Benzino, do not ever crash out over a woman, man.
Yeah, facts.
Do not ever crash out. Like even if it's your wife, bro, like do not ruin the rest of your life because you feel away right now. Yeah, don't do that.
Y'all better leave. And on the opposite end of that, y'all better leave these hood niggas alone. They willing to go there.
Well, I mean, most of these guys been locked up before. Like, it's not, once you get used to prison. I dated a girl, her brother was in and out of prison, and he is probably in prison right now. And I dated her when I was 19. Like, this dude has spent more time in jail than out of jail. Yeah. Right? So it's like, once they get used to it, they're like, yeah, you don't want to interact with somebody like that because what do they care about getting locked up?
And Paul Pierce, if you got stabbed, that nigga told you to leave his girl alone. Because he could have easily shot you from a distance. He got up close and personal to let you know what time it is.
It was words back and forth, but again, like if I was ever at a table and there was a young lady there and a guy was like, yo, this is his chick. And I'm like, yo, bye. Yeah, have a good day. Yeah. There's too many women in the club for me to be getting upset over one chick. Like,
thinking you the NBA superstar.
Girl, you knew your man was here. I make too much. I make too much money to be getting involved into an altercation.
And now you stabbed
over a bird.
And now you stabbed up.
Yeah.
And then you got to go snitch, which I ain't met.
Well, I don't even think that's snitching. I mean, Paul Pierce is a citizen. You go in court and you go to court and you tell on them motherfuckers.
See, here's the thing. Okay, he is a citizen. Yeah. But don't play hood games and then don't want to play the hood game later.
Yeah. Well,
that's your problem right there. Well, that's why a lot of you niggas get stabbed, shot, and killed. Because you want to play in the streets half the time.
Well, no, yeah. I mean, you play in the streets, it's in the streets. But no, if you're a citizen, no, you take your ass to the police and you take your ass to court. Facts. Yeah, don't do that to yourself.
Hey, man. But Benzino got better. And
I'm Machine Gun Kelly.
Fuck Eminem, bro.
So which one?
Fuck Eminem,
so
bro.
Which
one? Fuck both of them, bro. Fucking Cassidy will kill Eminem in a battle rap, bro.
Okay, you talking all that Eminem shit. I love it.
Everybody.
Hold on. I love it.
Come on, man. My daughter came into the industry figuring that, hey, I gotta be cool with Eminem because everybody's against my dad.
Right?
Crying.
You think this shit is fucking cool? Nah, man. Ooh, we're failing as a people.
Oh, now you try to blame it on...
Yeah, they try to you failing as a people. Like, fuck out of here.
Benzino, you failed, bro.
Well, I mean, he definitely needs to look back at himself and look at, again, right? Dude, you had the largest hip hop magazine in the world during the ascension of hip hop, right? But if you crashing out over women, like the whole Eminem fight thing, like y'all, both of y'all are in y'all late 40s and early 50s. Mm-hmm. Like, why are you still fighting?
Well, Eminem always said, "Yo, it's always gonna be up for you." You didn't give me that mic.
Yeah, I mean, dude, M should let it go because M is running into his damn 50s.
Nah, but M keeping it on rap. Like, I'm not mad at M. Yo, you came out and you said you gonna kill my 7-year-old daughter. You've came out and said that you releasing tapes trying to make me look racist. You tried your best when I'm trying to grow to ruin my career. You talked about my kid. You talked about my mom. You talked about my lifestyle, and you try to ruin my livelihood. No, it is up.
You know what? That's fair.
You can't, that's the problem, man. And then here's the thing. It ain't like I'm getting you touched. I'm just talking about rap. We rap, and I'm just throwing little jabs in here. The problem is with Benzino is your career was over because you went to a white man who started a source. You tried to help them get it off the ground. You did. You took it to its height. But your ego ruined the source as well. Well, let's keep it real.
Yeah, and again, I think that goes to like men not being able to keep their emotions in check.
Clearly,
right? Like, I think that's the lesson that we need to take from here is because take somebody like Benzino that he's been in every room that dudes ever want to be in at some point in his life, right? So the fact that he was never able to take that up, I know you said ego, but I think sometimes like we got to look at it. It's like it's more than just ego, right? It is. We're too fucking emotional, right? We're not masculine enough. We're not really controlling our emotions enough. Like there's plenty of times where something makes me feel a certain type of way, and I have to say to myself, like, man, I can't react or respond in that manner, right?
Facts.
I have to use logic. I have to use reason, and I think Benzino is a good example of doing things your way. Maybe even Dame Dash too, right? When you're doing things your way versus doing things the way that it takes to get things done.
Monique,
But
we get there later.
Well, we get there, right? But I think it's something to be said for people that understand how to get things done, right? So Monique, Tyler Perry, right? Mm-hmm. Very similar, starts. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? When it comes
Monique
to
and Steve Harvey.
Yeah, Monique and Steve Harvey.
That's even better comparison.
Yeah, like very, very similar starts. Very, very similar, ascensions, right? Mm-hmm. What's the difference? And I think it's hard sometimes, especially as men, because it's like the man thing is, I'm gonna do what I want to do, right? Mm-hmm. And it's like, what does that win look like? What does it take to get the win?
Facts. We can go quick. If you was Nori, would you have put that interview out?
I mean, if you potting, bro, absolutely. I mean, you kind of have to. You know what I'm saying? If you're potting, but I think you got to try. You got to kind of know it beforehand, though. Like we do not have guests. We're probably going to do guests at some point, whether it is online or in person.
Come on, y'all.
But one of the things that I really don't ever want to like set folks up, right? And I don't think Nori set Benzino up, but I think Benzino.
We got him. He fell for it.
I think he fell for the okie doke, man. Like, that the Eminem thing is coming up. And I get it. He's like, why do we got to keep talking about it? Mm-hmm. So he has a valid point. But you got to say beforehand, like, Nori, don't even bring up the M shit, bro.
Yeah, and you know what it is? Well, I mean, you got to bring up M. I don't care. If
Benzino, 20 years later, man.
I know, but that's the biggest part of Benzino's career. Like, I mean, you got
like even the whole rap song, but it's like, he was like, I got him, and he was so excited, like, dude, like, real talk, man. They like Benzino, like, I forgot that he said and done all those things to try to ruin M's career, but just be like, man, I was wrong, and move on for that shit, man.
Well, maybe, but you know what? You talking about you Benzino, you beefing with M
because it didn't hurt him.
It didn't, but I mean, I can't say it didn't hurt him. I can't say that. We could say that. We'd be like, oh, you was the biggest rapper. You sold 75 million records.
Commercially, I'm saying it didn't hurt him.
Yeah.
Emotionally, personally, I don't know. I don't know.
I imagine if y'all talking about it 20 years later, but I look at it like, you beefing with M, Dre, Snoop, Jimmy Iovine, 50 Cent coming right behind it. You beefing with a lot of people.
That's too many big enemies.
That is too many. And for you to be you.
That's too many
because
big enemies.
We all knew the magazines was going out of style.
Well, that's the problem. So he got blockbuster because at one point in time, him being him, he was the person that moved the needle. Right? Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'll never forget, Outkast, my favorite, rap group. They said, I got to get my other half of Mike.
Yeah.
And like, in one of the best interviews is Benzino was talking about Outkast, and he was like, I was the only person that said that their first album shouldn't get 5 mics. Mm-hmm. He's like, I'm the reason why I got 4.5 mics, right? So at one, I could get how you could become that foolhardy and think that like, I'm that powerful. But again, as men, can you check your emotions, right? Like, it's like the story of, I think it's Julius Caesar, right? Where he's walking through Rome and they say like he had someone that would always follow him and just whisper in his ear, you're just a man. Right? Because he's not being treated like a man. Everywhere he goes, he's been treated like a god. Mm-hmm. Right? So he has somebody that's their job. You're just a man. And it's like, as men, when we do blow up, right? Black dads do blow up and we got access to the top third of men, right? You know what I'm saying? Can we keep our emotions in check and make sure that we understand it? Like, while you might have a sphere of influence, you just a man. You're just as susceptible to a mistake as anybody else on the planet.
Absolutely.
Even more so because you might have more access.